you have to do is to rent a fully furnished apartment, list it on Airbnb and other booking platforms. Then, boom, you're making your monthly income. Or you can invest into it with a £0. And today, I will show you how. Hello everyone, my name is Sharon and welcome to my YouTube channel. Briefly about myself, I'm from London and I'm the CEO and founder of Sherlock's Property Company Limited. On today's episode, I will take you through on how to start an Airbnb business in Ghana. Before I go into it, please subscribe. Now, what is Airbnb? So, Airbnb is a platform where people rent out their apartment for travelers for short stays. Airbnb is made up of three modules. First, purchase property. Second, rent to rent. And lastly, property management. Purchase property is basically buying a property and listing it on Airbnb. Rent to rent, renting a property and listing it on Airbnb. And property management is basically managing a property on behalf of a host or a landlord. Before you go into Airbnb, you need to consider these three things. Either you want to purchase a property and use it for your Airbnb business, or you want to rent a property and use it for your Airbnb business, or you want to manage. First, you need to look for a property to purchase, rent, or manage. But I want us to talk about the investment part of Airbnb before we talk about the zero investment part of Airbnb. Now, let's find our property. There are a lot of Ghana websites where you can find a property, but the one that I do recommend is called Mikasa. This is the spelling. Mikasa is Ghana's number 1 website, property website, and so I do recommend people to go there whenever they are looking for a property to rent or to buy. When you go to this website, all you have to do is to look for a property of your choice, a fully furnished one. After you find a property of your choice, you give the landlord or letting agent a call, and with the agreement of the landlord or letting agent, you list your property on Airbnb, then you start making your income. Before we go into the £0 investment, which is the property management, I would like to answer a question quickly. So, someone asked me that starting an Airbnb business in Ghana, is it the same as starting an Airbnb business in the UK? And I would say no and yes, because starting the whole process is the same as Ghana, where the module is to purchase, rent, management is the same as the UK as well. The only difference is that with the UK, which is specifically London, there are rules attached to the whole Airbnb business. But in Ghana, it's very smooth sailing. There is no complication when it comes to Airbnb. Literally, any single person can rent a property, any single person can manage a property, anyone can buy a property and list it on Airbnb. But in the UK, there are so many routes and so much of a bit of complication. This is not to put you off, this is me being honest about the situation. So with the management, you manage people's property for them. It could be a host, or it could be a landlord, or it could be a letting agent, it could even be just an individual. So how you make your profit off it is either through commission. Maybe you set a percentage of how much you want to receive as a commission per month. That's how you get your income or profit out of it. Or what I also do is that I let's say I asked the landlord or the host that wants me to manage his or her property for them. I asked of the price of their nightly rate, then I top up with mine. Let's say I top up with £20 or $20. That's how management could also be. So management is very, very broad, and bear in mind there are a lot of people that are looking for people to manage their property for them. To be honest with you, you don't even have to be experienced when it comes to management. All you have to do is to be able to go into to learn how to do it, to pitch the landlord, or to have an idea of what management is. There is a lot attached to management. There are so many ways where you can get so much profit when it comes to management, because management is very, very broad. You could even have a team when it comes to management. I have over 6 properties that I manage, and my profit is about 1,500 to £1,000 per month, just from the properties that I manage with zero investment. So I believe that you could also do that as well. If you want to go into management, if you want to go into purchase property, rent to rent, I've put together a guide that would help you or take you through from first step to the last step basically. So I believe that if obviously if this is something that you really want to go into, I believe that the guide would be very very helpful to you. Few things to add up: you need to make sure that the property that you are renting or purchasing, you need to have a legal document just to make sure that you are working with a genuine property. Because one thing about Airbnb that no one tells you guys about is that if you list a property on Airbnb and Airbnb does not recognize the postcode or the address of the property, your account could be blocked. Blocked. And so you need to make sure that you are working with genuine people, because Airbnb is a very very genuine app, and so make sure that the properties that you are working with is from genuine place. There are lots of people that are into Airbnb. Right, let me make this statement. I just remember, thank God. In fact, write it down. Airbnb does not guarantee financial freedom, but Airbnb opens door to financial freedom. I hope you heard me, because this is very important. There are people out there on social media making Airbnb look so simple and making Airbnb look so like, yeah, it's easy, you can go in. I am here to tell you that it may not be as simple as you think, but that is why it's a way to financial freedom, but it's not something that could make you financially free. What I mean by that is you cannot tell me that you are running a two properties on Airbnb and so that will make you financially free. I do not agree with that at all. If you think that you want to argue with me about that, please come to my DM. But on the more serious note, Airbnb opens door to financial freedom. Let me use myself as an example. Okay, when I started Airbnb, 3 months I was expecting to, make like 10K, but I made about 7K. And funny enough, like that was not something that, it felt like disappointed, because before going into Airbnb, I had really high hopes that it's going to change my life all of a sudden. But one thing that I noticed is when I went into Airbnb, there was so many doors that was opened. And what I mean by doors is I started teaching people about Airbnb. I started to write books about Airbnb, a guide about Airbnb. I started to go to network events where we talked about Airbnb. I started to network with different people, different mindsets, same mindset as me, like basically people that are also into Airbnb. And that alone could generate me over like 5K, meaning that my 5K that I'm getting from teaching, guide, and everything is also an income. And also the money that I'm getting from Airbnb is also an income. This is me trying to say that I'm not saying you should cheat other people or anything like that, but what I'm trying to say is if you go into Airbnb, do not limit yourself. Try to get involved into every activities that goes on in Airbnb. So do not think that you want to have just two properties and just be on Airbnb, yeah, because I've got two properties. No, that's a wrong mindset. But if you go on Airbnb, you need to help other people to also start this business. How someone helped you when you started, that's the same consideration that you need to also consider helping other people. I genuinely don't want to come to the end of this episode, but I have to. I hope that this video has once again been an open eye to you, and therefore you are taking some bold steps today. The reason for this video is not just for me to sit here and talk about my experience or just say anything. The reason that I'm sitting here is to motivate you that you can do it and you have to do it. That is why I always advise people that whatever you are thinking of, because the Bible says that the glory of a young man is his strength. What are you using your strength for? What are you doing with your strength? So it's about time you do something with your strength, because that same strength that you would use to do something, that's the same thing that glory will come out from it. So if it's business, if it's clothing, if it's anything that you are thinking of, you need to start now. Find people to help you. I think most issue with people is that they find it so hard to invest. But have you forgotten that the more you invest, you are investing in yourself? So the fact that you're giving out money does not necessarily mean that you are giving out money to just someone else. But what it means is that you're giving out money to someone to teach you. That is what I did. And I can boldly say, I am so glad I gave out my £900 to my mentor. And I'm saying it right now. I give out £900 for my mentor to teach me how to start an Airbnb business. So you you don't even have to give out £900. My guide is very affordable for you to purchase, for you to start your Airbnb business as well. As I said, you don't have to get my guide if you don't want to go into Airbnb, but you can get a different guide, or you can get a different book where you can learn about businesses, everything, social media, and that is going to be the time or the day that your life will change. I hope I have spoken enough for you to get off your bed and start using your strength, because that is where the glory is going to come from. Right, let's come to the end of the video before I talk and talk and talk. Thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, hit the subscribe button right now before you leave this video. And please do comment as well, not just any comment, but if you have any questions, business related, any type of question that you think that is sort of like maybe bothering you, or you want to even share, I am very much open to any type of comment, okay? And let's think together. Let's bring out the ideas together. I believe that you are going to win if you start, doing something, if you start bringing that strength out of you, okay? So, thank you once again for watching, and in my next video, I would be talking about something really interesting, which is faith and business. Don't miss it. Bye for now.